What's going on, everyone? Before we begin today's episode, Pat and I want to give a huge shout out over to our great friend Carlo Honanyan and his team at Silver Spoon. Carlo's been an amazing support throughout this whole show, and we were lucky enough to have him on the last episode, and even now he's been even more generous and is sponsoring the show. We can't say thank you enough, Carlo, and we hope that if you guys need any kind of property needs or just to reach out to someone in that field, Carlo's the most amazing guy you guys can go out to and talk to. So thank you, Carlo.
We also want to thank all of our fans and everyone that's been supporting us during this time. We hope you enjoyed today's show.
Welcome back, everyone, to Off the Court. I know Pat and I have been gone for a while, but today we're back and we have a special guest with us, someone that everyone's been asking, when is he coming on? When's he coming on? And finally, we have him on today, guys. Most of you have seen what he's been doing in the last couple of years, but his basketball roots go back way deeper. And especially as an Armenian basketball player, he's done so much in the last couple of years that we wanted to see where it all started. He's won a FIBA championship just a few years back. He's won a Navasartian championship and a Armenian Games championship. So the resume speaks for itself. And finally, we get to talk to him off the court. Welcome to the show, Dre.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys
having me. How you doing, man?
Appreciate you guys having me. Family.
For sure, man. I mean, we've obviously, Pat and I have known you for a long time, man. And it's good to have you on the show so we could just chat and have fun, man. How's quarantine been?
Quarantine's been tough. I just got back in March from France. Season ended early. They suspended the season and then ended up canceling it. So been back since March, just trying to stay in shape, trying to stay ready for whatever comes my way, and just pretty much enjoying the summer. Whatever summer I have, just trying to enjoy it.
That's what I was going to talk to you about, man, just to kind of start it off. Most of the time we talk about like what's been going on, but with this situation, everything just got stopped so suddenly. You know, you were playing overseas, prime of your career, and then all of a sudden COVID hits.
Yeah.
And like every other professional league, you got to come back home. What was that like when everything just like stopped out of nowhere, dude?
It was honestly exciting because, I mean, it was bittersweet because, you know, I was missing home like a lot when I was over there. I was over there for about 8 months and had about 2 months left. And, you know, it was tough. Obviously, I wanted to stay and finish out the season and get to the playoffs. But at the same time, you know, I also miss being home and just, you know, miss my life back here too. So it was bittersweet to have it end that way. I wish it could have ended a different way, but I mean, you know, everything happens for a reason, so it's
of course, okay. Man. Mm-hmm. I think, you know, like a lot of people, it gives you a chance to kind of regroup your thoughts a little bit, see like where you want to be at. And hopefully when everything settles down, man, you can go back to doing what you love. We'll jump back, obviously, to the first Armenian experience you ever had, which was, I think, a big part of like who you became as a basketball player also. Homenetmen was your first chance to get in that environment. 13, 14 years old, but you hadn't really been in that, you know, that culture of just playing with one group of kids that only come there. You know, they're not focused as much on basketball. It's more of like a cultural gathering, and then they play ball too. Exactly. What was that like for you being so basketball minded coming into that new environment?
It was very cool. It was very humbling at the same time too. When I first came into Arad, I was about 13. I think it was in like 2008, 2009, right, Pat? I think 2008. You know, my mom and Henry told me to come join this team, and it was your dad's team, actually, the first team I've ever been on. So when I came in, it was very nice. You guys, it was like a brotherlyhood, more of a brotherhood than, you know, just focused on just basketball. You know, we went on trips, we went out to eat, so it was just a great experience, and I had so much fun like coming in and just getting to know new guys and get a new brotherhood.
Bro, I'll never forget the first practice you showed up. It was just so funny, man, because you came in rocking out your Gilbert Arenas jersey, because, you know, with us, we were told wear plain jerseys, reversible ones. That's how my dad was. He's like, just wear plain reversible ones. Then you come in, and you know the thing was we're older than you, like 1 year or something like that.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, and that's a big gap. You know,
yeah, at 13.
At that age, it's a big deal because like you're obviously taller and bigger.
Yeah, you guys were bigger than me. 15, I was about 13.
Yeah, but it didn't make any difference whatsoever. You came and you killed it, man. You impressed a lot of people.
That's crazy. Yeah, that was such a long time ago. I remember your dad, my mom comes up to your dad and was like, so he wants to join the team in the beginning of the practice and, you know, let me know if he's okay. And then after the practice, your dad comes up and he's like, well, obviously he can play. So I was like, oh. So it was fun. It was really fun to be a part of that team. First time we went to, was it Fresno?
Yeah, it was Fresno.
Yeah, the first time I went to Fresno. It was my first game ever, and I remember, I think I hit the game-winning shot.
Yeah, man, it was close the whole game. You didn't start that game.
No, I didn't. No. I didn't.
But you still killed it, man. You were like, I remember you told me like, bro, I'm gonna be the 6th man of the year in this tournament. This I just watched.
Oh man, it was good times though.
It was fun, bro. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like obviously I wasn't playing with you guys when you guys were younger, but then when you got a little older, right around high school time, I joined with you guys, and it was like. Everyone was like looking at us, even though like I wasn't an amazing player, but everyone was like, oh, they brought in an older guy. They got Dre. We had a rough tournament in Novs, I think, right? Or Winter Games.
It was Novs, yeah.
And it was kind of disappointing because that was like the last time I think all of us got to play with each other. Yeah. But I think right after that, like I saw you really develop into an offensive like beast. And when you get to high school, we saw that. So talking about high school a little bit, you started off at Burbank, right?
Yeah, I started off at Burbank.
What was that like playing ROT and high school at the same time? And then obviously the focus really shifted. What was that time like for you?
When I played in high school and ROT at the same time, I was kind of accustomed to it because when I first joined ROT, I was also in many travel teams, like 2 or 3 club teams. So it would be some games where I would show up to ROT games and I was already warm after I already had 2 games at about 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and show up to ROT game at 5. So I was already warm.
Yeah.
So I remember me and my mom and Henry would just be rushing to the game. Like right after one of my AAU games, we'll just be rushing to a ROT game. And it was just so fun. But playing in high school and playing in Navasartian, it was a pretty cool balance, but it got to a point where I had to just shift my focus towards high school basketball and kind of just come to ROT just for practices and, you know, fine tuning. But it was just really fun. And high school basketball was at Burbank, it was a little different. They weren't so focused just on basketball. Like it was just so many things going on at Burbank that my sole focus wasn't even college basketball. Like, you know, that's why I made that transition to Pasadena. It was more of a basketball culture. More of a basketball community, and it gave me a chance to get a scholarship and actually make it out of the city. So I'm really glad I put that trust into Pasadena and, you know, got myself out of that situation in Burbank because in Burbank, from what I remember, I don't think any players went D1 out of Burbank.
I mean, there were some talented guys, but in terms of that level, I get that. You want to be in a place where it's always super competitive.
Yeah, because there was games where I was putting up, 30, 40, but our coach wasn't putting anything online. There was no videos, no stats of me, so my name wasn't really getting out there. I remember I had a scholarship from CSUN my first time, but other than that, I really didn't get any other offers that I thought I deserved of getting, so I just had to make that move to Pasadena.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really showed because I think if you stuck to that route of Burbank, you wouldn't have got to that next step like you're talking about. I mean, college obviously looks at so many different things, right, when you're about to get a scholarship offer or whatnot. But what other offers were you looking at right out of high school? Were you looking at any other schools or was it like South Plains was like your number one option at that point?
Well, it's a long story. This is what happened. When I left Pasadena, when I graduated, I had a scholarship before I graduated and I signed to UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso. And when I was at Burbank, I was taking classes. I was just taking classes just to graduate. I wasn't taking Division I classes for me to be eligible for Division I because I wasn't accustomed to that, and the school wasn't accustomed to having a Division I, trying to go Division I. So I was just la in class, like
Yeah.
Like just taking classes that I didn't even know that I needed to be eligible for anything.
Yeah.
So when I went to Pasadena, it was a little bit too late my senior year. I got everything done except there was just one class I was missing. And so when I got to UTEP, it was very disappointing too, because I was there for a summer. And I remember they called me into the offices and they said, like, my SAT score doesn't correlate with this class or this class. And I ended up having to come back home, losing that scholarship from UTEP, come back home. And it's just very disappointing. You know, all my friends, my family were just disappointed. My mom was so disappointed. And I remember telling her, like, don't worry, I'm going to go to a junior college and I'm going to earn myself a scholarship to a Division I, like I promised you. She was like, oh, I don't know. Like, and you know, even myself, I didn't know how that process worked. You know, it was just me. I didn't have an older brother or older figure to kind of, you know, like walk me through that process really, because no one's been through it. Exactly. I know. Mm-hmm. So I remember I came back and we went up to Chaffee College, and you know Chaffee, right up here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And we went up to Chaffee College, and I was just looking around, and my mom, my coach, was showing me everything. He was like, yeah, like you could do here, like I could pick you up. And I was just looking around like, no, this isn't it, man. I was just at a Division I, like this isn't it. And I remember getting home that day and I was just depressed. And I got a call from South Plains and a couple other like junior colleges, but these were national junior colleges. Yeah. These weren't the ones in California. Like these ones gave you scholarships. Yeah. So I remember South Plains calling me and he said, Coach Hank Plone, I'll never forget. And he said, look, we have a scholarship for you here. We're in Texas. It was kind of close to UTEP. Mm-hmm. And the coach from UTEP.
Was it Tim Floyd at the time?
Tim Floyd was the coach, yeah. But the assistant coach, Coach DeWeese, had hooked me up with the South Plains coach. And they were the number one junior college in the country. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, we were still ranked number one. And
solid. Yeah,
we had a great record. So I ended up going to junior college in Texas over there. And I did 2 years over there and ended up earning myself about 50, 60 scholarships from Division I right after that. So, solid. And I ended up choosing Arizona State right after that. You know, I committed to Herb Sendek, and he ended up getting fired.
And how did that transition work, going from South Plains to ASU?
Oh, man.
You're playing D1 now, man.
Not only D1, a school that like James Harden had just come out of, right?
Yeah.
So,
no, I can't even lie to you. Arizona State, that was like one of the best experiences in my life, especially coming from junior college. That was in Texas. Literally, there was no population over there. Like, there wasn't a movie theater. There wasn't a mall. You had to go to Lubbock by Texas Tech, about 30, 40 minutes down the road. So,
hey, but ASU is ranked like the number one party school in America.
Yeah, it is. it is ranked the number one party school. Like, it was definitely a party school. Yeah. It was really fun over there. Like, I had a very good time. It was great. But, you know, I had a little kink in the armor because I committed to Herb Sendek, and that was the coach, you know, that originally I wanted to play for. And he ended up getting fired. And I still had other schools reaching out to me, but I kind of stayed loyal to ASU because, you know, I went on a visit there, and if you go on a visit to ASU, like, you're going to commit. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't, you know, there's not a lot of guys out there that go on a visit and don't commit.
Yeah.
Like, that, especially coming from junior college, like, that's coming from nothing. So,
dude, that's like going from like a local school here to like growing up a USC, UCLA fan and them giving you an offer and not going.
Exactly, man. So, you know, and I always have tied to ASU because I had played there before in tournaments and always done well. So, and it's close to home and the weather. But, you know, I had a big offer from Oregon too, you know, and I think if I have one regret in my life, I think I regret not committing to Oregon when I had the chance. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a big time guard school, just as well as Arizona. But when I was in Arizona, he had me playing on the wing and in the corner, just a spot up shooter.
Had you, when that transition happened with the coaches, did you ever sit down with Bobby Hurley and talk to him about like what your role was going to be, or was it like he came in and you got put to a different role automatically?
Yeah, like he came in and I kind of got put into a different role. Like he noticed that I can shoot the ball, you know, pretty well from the corners. So, and the guards at the time, he was one of the guards, Trey Holder. You know, he was much smaller than me too. So, you know, he's not going to put him in the corner. And, you know, and I was more ball dominant. Like, I would like to be up top with the ball and everything. So, you know, I played about 19, 20 minutes a game. It was pretty solid, you know, for the average person trying to play, you know, at a high major school. But I felt like I deserved a little bit more than that. And, you know, I worked too hard in junior college those 2 years to come onto the Division I scene and only get about 20 minutes a game. I only got 2 years left. So what I decided to do was, I decided to transfer, and I took myself to Northern Colorado, and ended up paying dividends and ended up really like paying off for me.
Well, yeah, it did pay off. You went from like averaging what, like it was 4 or 5 points a game, and now you're averaging about like what, 20 points a game now?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I was at ASU averaging about 6, 7, and just wasn't getting the shots that I wanted, wasn't getting the playing time, touches that I needed in order to become a pro. Mm-hmm. So I had to make a move. Just it was kind of took me back to Burbank. When I was in Burbank, I wasn't getting much exposure. When I went to Pasadena, I got a little bit more exposure. Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing.
What's the crazy part about, I think, basketball more than any other sport, it's because you only got 5 guys on the court, right? And your coach really sets the tone for what kind of style you're going to play. So when you commit to a school and, you only have 2 or 3 years to really show what you can do, if that style doesn't fit you, it puts you back so far, and I think with Hurley, he really, when I was watching, it was just like he was trying to relive those Duke days of like pass the ball 8 times, maybe work it around, when that's not going to help the top 2 or 3 guys get to the next step. You know what I mean?
And I won't necessarily say that, it was him, but it was just the fact that I'm just in the corner waiting for the ball the whole game, and the point guards, he's got to give me the ball too. So I'm just sitting there waiting my turn for the ball, and it would never, there would be times where it wouldn't even come. So, it wasn't on him. Whenever I got the ball, like Hurley didn't not allow me to shoot the ball or do my thing or anything like that. He would let all his guards rock. Yeah. So that wasn't really the case, but just the case was kind of for me to have my own platform, my own team, and I only had 1 year at Northern Colorado to do it. So that's pretty much why I went all out that 1 year that I went there. So I had to maximize my opportunity.
So what made you want to choose that school? How they reached out to you, or you found them?
That same coach, Deweese, that I was at UTEP with, that plugged me with South Plains, he had called me and said, Dre, I'm on the market. I'm leaving UTEP. I'm going to go to Arkansas, Colorado. He named a bunch of schools. I said, look, man, wherever you go, I'm going with you. Because, you trusted him. I trusted him, and ended up being Coach Linder, who called me. He was at Boise State. He had recruited me before I committed to Arizona State. And I remembered that conversation. And, he told me, Dre, I can see you come here averaging about 20, 22 a game, and we're going to put the ball in your hands. And that's all I needed to hear. It could have been anywhere in the world, and I would have went. So it was great.
Talk a little bit about your final game there, the CIT championship game. What was going through your mind? Like, talk a little bit about that.
Oh, man. My CIT championship, that was the last game of my college career. Yeah. And it was good that, ended on a W. Not a lot of people end on a W in a college career unless you win the national championship. Exactly. We didn't end up doing that, but we ended up winning a smaller championship, which was still good. But, it still haunts me to this day that we didn't make the tournament. But it was a really good experience. It was fun. It was just great.
I always have this talk with people. Would you rather win those lower championships or get to the NCAA
and lose the first game?
Yeah. you gotta go up against a Kentucky or a Duke first game.
Oh man. Honestly, for me, I'd rather get into the tournament, because I think maybe we would have played Michigan, because that team that beat us played Michigan, and anything can happen in a tournament when you have good guards. And I feel like that was my platform for me to eventually get drafted and for me to be seen, because
the exposure is so big.
Exactly. So if you have good guards, you can pretty much win every game, any game. So
we've seen it last couple of years. The big upsets have like 2 or 3 guards, like Wichita State with Van Fleet. You know what I mean? So
yeah, good guards, like you can't stop good guards.
Especially experienced guards. You guys were all seniors and juniors. Those other big teams were freshmen mostly.
Yeah, we're pretty experienced, and those Michigan guards, I feel like they couldn't hold me. So, it would have been tough for them too. Yeah. So maybe with the bigs, it would have been really tough for us. But just for me to get out there and show that I can do that on that big stage, that would have been great. But it didn't happen like that, and it's okay. Stuff happens.
Man, it set you up, I think. I think that helped get some more attention from different teams and things that we'll talk about in a little bit. But right after that and right around that same time, you get a call to go play for the Armenian national team, to go to FIBA, right? And we had seen it just a few years earlier. Z, Narb, those kind of guys had tried putting a team together, and it just didn't work. I don't know exactly what the process was for this time around, but you guys finally got the team to, get together. You got a new coach, new staff, and you guys head over to train, right? And then you end up playing in Moldavia. Where was it?
Moldova. Yes. This was in 2016. This was right after I left Arizona State.
Oh, okay.
Before
gotcha.
I went to Northern Colorado.
Gotcha.
The summer of.
So how did that process work? Who did you get a call from one of the guys and say like, hey, Dre, you got to come on the team, or you got a call from like the Armenia embassy?
Yeah.
What was it like?
Yeah, I got a call from the Olympic Committee, and they were kind of waiting for me to turn 21 years old.
Okay.
Because I remember I was like 16, 18, they were talking, and this is the first time they assembled a national team. And I feel like they were waiting for me to turn 21 too, because I've been told that. Mm-hmm. So right when I turned 21, they checked the Facebook. Oh, he's 21 now, and we got the call, and we kind of put the guys together. And I wish it would have been more guys from here. It was
American Armenians.
Yeah, or just not even just American Armenians, just a little bit more talent wise. Like okay. I feel like we have more talent down here than let's say the Armenians and Russia, for instance. Like no disrespect to them, but we had a couple like good ones, but we also had a couple guys here that can also make that roster very easily and shine. So, but I feel like they wanted to mix and match a little bit more and not have too many Americans. There was only 3 of us, me, Z, and Mike.
Yeah,
I think so. So, but that was a great experience. That was fun, man.
Talk a little bit about the experience of playing, over there overseas ball in comparison to playing in America. You saw a big difference there, or was it tough for you to adjust?
That was my first time actually like getting experience with overseas basketball, and it wasn't too much of like overseas for me because it was in Armenia. I knew the culture, I know the language, I have family there, so it wasn't like too difficult, and I was around a lot of people I knew, so it wasn't too difficult. But it was a little changing though, and I was in my prime of college basketball, so I was, very hyper and excited. Just everything was just moving so fast.
Right.
So it was good. It was a good experience. Like I had no complaints about that whole thing. It was the best time ever. Right. That and the Armenian Games, those two right there was really the best times in Armenia that I've ever had.
Let's talk a little bit about that final where you guys played against Andorra, right? Mm-hmm. You had a game high. It was 27 points. That game must have been competitive the whole way through. Talk a little bit about that. Yeah,
that game was competitive. They had beat us actually in the pool play. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't believe that they beat us. Any of our team couldn't. Like we should have went in there and pretty much swept through the whole thing. But it's a good thing that happened to us though, because we needed that. Because we thought we were too good, and we just ended up dropping an egg and losing a game to them. And when we saw them in the championship game, it was none of that anymore. Yeah. Like we had to really lock in and dial in because they moved the ball so well. Like it was, American style. It's kind of one-on-one and pass here, pass there. But them, there was like the Spurs guarding them. Mm-hmm. So it was really hard. And they were all short guys and just making everything. I remember that was crazy, but it was a good game. It
was fun to watch. Yeah, for sure.
Our toughest game I think was Finland though. No, not Finland. Ireland. Ireland, yeah. That was our toughest.
One guy, it just popped back into my head. You guys, 4th guy from America, I think, Brian Dunstan.
Oh, right? Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did have a good guy. He was big for us. He was key. He was
big time.
Yeah, best big man I've ever played with.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Best big
man. He was so fundamental and like did his role.
Yeah,
I think he helped so much.
Especially if you sent me a screen, came off naked. Yeah.
What was fun for me? We were watching it here, and I felt like because we know some of the guys. I'm like, put Mike in, put Dre back in. Like you're thinking that.
Yeah.
But it was fun watching like you guys that we've seen play with a different group of guys like that. An Armenian national team. It was fun watching like Z, for example, play with a different group. He really embraced what he was. And you too, I think that was the overall, like what I took the most out of that, it's like you guys were playing for your country in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was
cool.
It was so special, especially when we got off the plane and we came back after the championship and celebrated. It was crazy.
I feel you, man. You know, we talked about the experience a little bit, but let's say in the future you get that call again. You want to go back, play for the Armenian national team, or is that something that you feel like, hey, we've kind of done all we can for now? And
of course, yeah, like any stage that I can go and play, you know, with, you know, playing for my country too, like I'll seize the opportunity and take it. So like if I know they were going to play in Ireland actually coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I was thinking about it too, especially coming from overseas. I was really thinking about it, but the whole pandemic thing happened. And the national team is out the window now for this year. So
I think you guys changed a lot of like what we see from the national team, because right after you guys came back, you see like everyone getting a chance now to play for the junior team or the main team, and they have a league in Armenia now. I think you guys really like reshaped everything that we see today, man. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, that championship definitely in 2016, that national championship really like put Armenia on the map a little bit more for basketball, because you know this little country here, they're like, oh, like that's the first time they assembled a team and they won a gold medal in the small country Olympics. So, and now, you know, there's so much more talent, you know, especially down here that we see these kids out here, they're training daily and they're getting better and better. So I can't wait to see the future and even play with a lot of the future kids that are training now. You know, there's some kids that I even train that I see. I can't wait to play with you, Dre, on the national team. I'm like, yeah, man, you're going to be carrying me to a championship. So I'm going to be riding your wave.
Right.
That's what I tell them. So I'm excited for that.
It'll be fun to see that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your NBA experience a little bit. You got a chance to play for the summer league team for Denver, which was huge. We hadn't really seen any Armenian get that chance for such a long time. What was that like getting onto that summer league roster? And then we'll talk about the other teams that you ended up playing with in the G League. But what was it like getting that call, going to that summer league team?
Oh man, it was very exciting too. I remember it was draft night, and I was talking back and forth with my agent, and he's telling me it's a very unlikely chance that you're going to get drafted, you know, 52nd or whatever it was. But I had a workout with the Nuggets, and you know, I did fairly well with them. So, and I was also in the area, so they kind of they seen my games and they seen me play, and then it ended up getting that call to make their summer league team, and it was very exciting for me, you know, coming from out here where not a lot of people get that opportunity to, you know, even make a summer league roster, and just everything circled back and just remembered everything that I've been through, how hard I worked for it, and you know, I can't wait to get that feeling back, you know. So it was great though. It was a great experience to be in the summer league and, you know, be around that type of culture and see how hard I need to work and where I need to be and how I need to be. So it was just a good experience.
We go, before all this happened, that was like our thing, us two, and our dad would go to summer league, watch like 4 or 5 games. The summer league is super competitive. Yeah, people don't. If you watch it on TV, you don't understand that guys are fighting for their livelihoods, you know, in the summer league. And I think, you know, for we saw that translate. You got a shot to go play for the Wisconsin Herd, right? Mm-hmm. So what was that transition like? After summer league ends, you get that call from the G League to go play for the Wisconsin team.
Well, I had played with a couple overseas teams before that, and I joined the G League like the last month of the season. So this was like a whole year later. It wasn't right after the summer league when I went to the G League. I went overseas and played over there for a couple months, and then the last part of the season of the G League, I joined the Wisconsin Herd.
Gotcha.
So the G League experience was great, and you know, I'm striving to get back into that G League area so I can work my way up back to the NBA area. So that's pretty much my primary focus now. Is, you know, obviously, you know, Europe is there for me, and I have, you know, offers there that I can pretty much take and, you know, run with, but my main focus is to, you know, get back and play in the States. But it's the G League is a great experience. You know, if you have unlimited gym time. You know, you're always on the go.
It's a close thing to the NBA that you can get to.
Exactly, and it's a 50 games in 5 months. You know, that's a lot of games. You know, and that's what any player wants.
Of course. You know, we obviously from the outside looking in, we don't see the day-to-day stuff that goes on in the NBA, G League, everything like that. People just look at it and say, yeah, I want to get to the NBA. I want to, you know, just be on that stage. But we don't realize like how much it takes to get there. Like, what are some of the things that if you look back on it, you would say, man, I had to do that a little different, or I should have worked on this differently. Like, what are the things, not regrets, but what are the small things that you can still tweak it even now.
Yeah.
But what are some things that you think take those guys to the next step?
I think just more to take you to the next step, probably just more focus and more determination, you know, and just outside noise and not caring about what other people think of you, and just being a little bit more selfish with your time, you know, not trying to, you know, compromise yourself or compromise, you know, anything. You just got to focus on you. And, you know, I wish I could have, you know, worked harder, like in my younger days, you know, to really push that, because you can never stop working. You know, you can always work harder. So I kind of forgot your question right there.
No, it's, you touched on it, man. Like, I think that was a point that I was going to actually ask you, was like developing your craft a little bit more detail, like you said, and focus is so big. Yeah. Because nowadays, man, like, you've trained kids, we coach, they go outside, they forget all about what they were just doing 2 days earlier. And it's, if you're trying to get to college or even high school, you got to have that consistency.
It is, right? Yeah, no, definitely do. But, you know, also what I say is the easy part is training. The hard part is performing in the game, actually. But, you know, other people, but if you do your training, the easy part is the performing. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, I know I said that backwards, but
no, it's just like any practice it.
Yeah, so if you practice it well enough, like you're gonna perform it well enough. But it's not that easy to just go out there and just perform well enough. Like,
we talked about that with Z. Game time is like nothing else.
It's nothing else.
You can't train for game time situations.
You can't. So you just gotta go out there and not hang your head. Like, if you have a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, even, like, that's the beauty of basketball, because I can have a bad game the whole game, but I hit one shot,
you're back in it,
and boom, I'm on draft boards, and I'm on this and that. You can have just one game, one shot, you know. So all it takes is just opportunity.
But that's the crazy thing. You're saying you wish you trained harder, bro. You're playing every day. How can you work harder than that when you're playing and practicing every day?
It's different stuff though. Like, my thing isn't like, it's just talent. You know what I mean? Like, what I need to work on is stuff that other people maybe don't need to work on, you know? Like, some people work on, you know, shooting, ball handling, you know? I need to work on, like, my eating. I need to work on my, you know, strength, you know, just stretching, you know, the little things. That's the stuff, you know, I go play ball every day, yeah. I can go do that all day. But it's the other stuff, you know, the weights, the eating, the sleeping, you know, just preparing for everything. So what I would say to the young kids now is, like, it's not just all about, oh, I can do this so well, I can shoot, dribble so well, pass so well. It's the other little things that are going to separate you from X, Y, Z. Because we can all shoot, we can all score, we can all do this, we can all do that. But who's getting that sleep at night? Who's putting in that extra work? You know?
Yeah, I mean, how many times do you watch a game and you say, I'm easily as talented as that guy, right?
Yeah.
Guys in the league. But I always tell Pat, they're doing something in the back, in the background that we don't see.
Exactly.
You know, they're on that extra workout, whatever it is. They're not talking to friends. We like compromising, and because of that, we have friends and we have all that. But at the same time, that's what separates NBA guys, probably.
Exactly. And it's also opportunity and, like, exposure that you get, because, you know, let's say you went to Duke and you average 9 points a game, but I go some small school and I average 30.
Yeah.
You still have a bigger chance of me getting to the NBA, even though you know, because your name is bigger than my, like, you know, the name on your jersey is bigger than even my game sometimes. It's not the case all the time, but a lot of the times that's the case too. These guys come from big schools.
80% of the league is from like the major 10 schools that there are.
Exactly. So, you know, it's very hard and difficult to, you know, find those jewels in, you know, smaller schools. But at the end of the day, there's talent everywhere. And if you're good enough, they're going to find you.
Yeah.
So
scouting's on a whole nother level nowadays, man. They'll find you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we wish you luck with that. You know, I know talking to you, you want to get back to the G League, and I think that's the right way to go. Overseas is tough, man. You really have to have no family, no friends, and that's got to be your focus. And it's like, dude, man, it's not easy, man.
Yeah, if I go into that, we'll be on here for about 3 more hours about No, overseas is definitely a grind. You know, people always say, "Oh, Jerry, I want to go overseas. Like, I can't wait to go overseas. Like, if I don't go to the league or G League, I'll just go overseas." Like, no, like it's harder to go overseas. Like,
big time.
It's harder to play overseas than it is in the NBA. Like, I have many NBA friends that tell me that same exact thing, so I know. And you know, I've seen it too. You see Luka Doncic, he's in Europe averaging, 17, 18. He gets to the league, he's averaging about 30, 10 and 10. Like, it's just so much space and so much more, you know, offensive minded. And out there, it's a lot more physical than guys think.
Yeah.
Europe is much more physical than the NBA. So it's hard to play out there too, especially with no friends and no family. And it's really hard, but, you know.
Language barrier is also a big issue too, I'm sure.
Yeah, language barrier is really tough. Yeah, I had a tough time playing in Europe and adjusting to Europe. Definitely, it was tough.
We'll talk about we'll wrap it back towards Armenian and Homenetmen just a little bit, because I think that's obviously the most recent game that most people have seen that are going to be watching this. A lot of kids, a lot of older guys that used to play coming back watching. This last Navasartian got a chance to see you.
Oh, that was
fun, man.
I've never been like in a Navs game like that.
Exactly, because before you were, as a kid, playing in the small gym and all that, but now you come back, and I mean, it was fun to watch, but I got to give you a little bit of shit, dude, for joining a A1 and creating a super team. I got to give you a little bit of crap for that. But
what other team was I don't know what other team I was supposed to join, honestly.
No, it was fun, man. It was fun to watch. I mean, the kids that we coach were just like running. They don't even care. They'll come watch us play once in a while. They were running to get like front row seats to watch you guys play.
That's crazy.
It was fun. I remember one of the games you guys finished and you like took a picture with all the kids. It was funny because like you see like a Shant kid, Mossy's kid, they don't care.
Yeah,
they're coming on the R-Rut bench to take pictures. It was funny. What was that experience like coming back and playing, like you said, dude, in Birmingham main gym this time around? Even though the competition probably wasn't the greatest in that tournament, but the environment, what was that like?
The environment was unmatched. Like, honestly, I felt like I was back overseas. Just the crowd was so into it, you know, because, you know, those overseas crowds are they're into
crazy.
It.
Yeah.
But when I got here, it's just all friends and family and the community, you know, and everyone knows each other. It was just a great feeling to come out there and, you know, finally like perform in front of everyone and, you know, kind of just show everyone, you know, like what I've been working on, and just to come out there and just show love to the community. And they showed like so much love to me. It was just the best experience, honestly. Like, I didn't even expect it to get that packed. Or I remember watching as a kid, it was always that packed, but it's just different when you're in there playing.
Yeah.
It was so fun. It was really fun.
It worked out well playing with those guys because you would go play with them in Pan Armenia.
Yeah.
We were both lucky enough to be part of that too. Talk a little bit about the experience of the practices and scrimmages, because I remember they were always super competitive.
For Pan Armenia?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those scrimmages, and they were really competitive. I know. I remember Alec. We would switch teams. And whatever team you and I were on, we were good though. I remember that when me and Alec were on the same team.
Yeah, baby.
Drive kick. So it was fun, man. Those scrimmages were so good, and we knew we had a really good team, and we went up there and we knew we were playing for one game and one game only, and that was the championship game. So those scrimmages, and they really got us prepared for that.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about. Obviously, we breezed through the games. Obviously, like you said, the whole point was to get to the Beverly Hills game.
Oh man, I have a funny story.
Yeah. Or go for it.
No, keep going.
No, I just wanted to ask you, like, what was that experience like? Because I know on that Beverly Hills team, you knew some of the guys.
Yeah.
You actually played with Artem on that national team.
I did.
Talk a little bit about that.
I played with Artem on that national team, and I played against Arkady in college. He went to Idaho. A funny story. This is the night before the championship game. We're in the hotel. I'm on the balcony, and I remember it was me and Henry, my stepfather, and we're just on the balcony. I forgot who was in there. Maybe Z. It was a lot of the team in there, but he's like, "Yo, Dre, like, slow it down. Like, you have a game tomorrow. Like, don't stay up too late. You know, like." I'm like, "Man, like, don't worry about it. Like, we're good. It's Beverly Hills. Like, everyone's talking about them. Like, I was like, we're Glendale. Like, we're gonna win. Don't worry about it. Like, we're fine." And then, I just look back and our team is just like, we're not even thinking about the game. Like, we are, but we'll get to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't worry, man. Like, there's no way they're gonna beat us. There's no way. And I remember that game like yesterday. I thought we were gonna lose.
Yeah. That's what we were going to talk to you
about,
man.
We were down 15 or whatever, and I was just like, oh, my God. Like, I knew this would happen. Like, of course. It's because I said that. Like,
look, the way the game started, we started off okay. It wasn't too bad. But when Z obviously gets ejected, I think everyone's mindset kind of changed. And then I remember midway through, you started cramping up.
Yeah.
Almost right after halftime, you start cramping up. And, we had to, like, we as in coaches were, like, bringing you out, seeing how you were, put you back in, and I think a lot of people from the outside were just like, what's going on? Like, why is he coming out? Why is this happening? But people didn't understand, like, that game was so intense.
Yeah.
And it was like, if you didn't come out for a couple of minutes, I think you would have probably cramped up even worse, that,
He was also in foul trouble.
Yeah, I remember I had, like, they were going to foul me out that game. I had like 3-4 fouls. And I was like, wow. Like,
is this how it's going to be? that everyone was just, we were all looking at the clock, at the score and thinking, is this going to really happen again?
Honestly, I thought that was it. I was looking at the crowd, looking at everyone like, oh my goodness. Like every time they scored, I just look at the crowd. Like, I remember, I was like, what?
But you turned it up. You had 40 plus how many points? 40 points. Yeah. But it was a quiet 40 for me. Like, dude, it wasn't like, it was just coming, easily.
Yeah, I don't even remember it like that.
What do you take away from that game the most? Was it just being in that stadium with the crowd, or was it the competition, playing against those guys?
It was just a combination of everything. Like,
yeah,
I just really I knew how much we cared to win. Like we had dinners and we had toasts to the championship. Multiple toasts. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like we went there thinking we won already, which is not the right mindset. That wasn't the right mindset, but you kind of got to have that mindset in order to be successful. You got to know you're the best, know you're going to win. But we kind of walked in there a little bit too confident in that championship game. They punched us in the mouth that first half. Mm-hmm. And I'm just really glad we bounced back and we got that win. It
was big, man.
It was great. And if they ever want a rematch, they got to come down here, because we can't go up there. Like that was different. Those referees, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way how they were reffing that game. Like,
yeah, that guy that ejected Z, they had problems before, right?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Look, we had seen like those guys, like you mentioned, you had seen a few of them before, but for us, I mean, we only knew a few of them.
They were a good team.
Very good team.
They were a good team. They moved the ball well. They hit all their open shots. They played really well. What we did, that zone messed them up too, because they're a really good shooting team, but they just kind of froze
up a little.
Froze up on the zone, and they had no chance guarding us on the other end anyway. So it was a good game, but I'm just so glad we beat those guys, and we can run it back whenever. So
I mean, we talked about it a little bit. Obviously, when we finished, you didn't have like a ton of time to celebrate with the guys, because right after that you're going to France to play for Rouen, right? So what was it like knowing in the back of your head, even though we just finished and everything was done, you still had to go and continue playing ball like overseas?
It was so sad too, and because right after the championship game, everyone's like, "Oh yes, like we won," like and everything, and I'm just sitting there like, I gotta go to France in like 3 days, like I can't even go home. And I remember you guys left. all the buses like from Glendale leave to go to the airport, man. And I'm really just out there looking at you guys go like, like wow, like
I remember, dude. He came on the bus. He told us, "Hey, but go enjoy a burger. Go enjoy a cheeseburger for me, because I ain't going back to America right now."
Not till a year later. Yeah, that was
crazy.
Really, yeah, it was so hard to do that too. I was going back and forth before even the championship games and the semifinal games. I remember I came late to a game, or
I remember
missed the whole practice because I had to go back and forth with the embassy and try to work my French visa. My mom was all over the place during that Armenian Games, but honestly, the primary focus was just on coming together and having fun with you guys and enjoying Armenia. It wasn't, obviously we went there to win, but my bigger purpose was to go there and just enjoy Armenia, my friends and my family, you know, and you know everyone was there.
That was what made it so fun, dude. I mean, we had been there together in 2011.
Exactly.
It was way different though. Way
different.
We were younger. Mm-hmm. You guys were like what? You
16.
were 16, 17. I mean, and then going now where you can drink, have fun, eat, enjoy the time.
I had, I had my girlfriend there. I had my mother there. Yeah. I had my stepdad there. I had my cousin there. I had my cousins that were from there. Everyone in Glendale, the whole Glendale was there. Honestly, so my whole circle was there, and I just felt really comfortable and everything.
I think that helped us a lot. Yeah, having that group with us, around us, helped us big time. Man.
Those bus rides to the game and after the game,
they were fun.
Armenia was great. I can't wait till the next one.
Right. So you answered that question, man. 4 years, you're gonna go?
Yeah, of course, of course. I don't see why we don't bring pretty much the same team.
Yeah,
I don't see why not. Pretty much the same team with maybe another guy or two.
Yeah,
but I don't see why we don't bring that same team.
Look, dude, if these guys...
It'll be different.
We got to be in shape, though.
If they stay in shape...
That's in 4 years. Like, it's
3 years now, actually.
That's a lot of kebab and drinking in between 4 years from now, man. And we got to be careful.
God knows how I'm going to look in 4 years, too. So, we'll see.
It'll be fun, man. I think we talked about it with a few of the guys. Z brought it up, too. He really wants to go back there 20 years after the first one that he won. That's crazy to think that, but if we go with the same group, I think it'll be fun, man. And
it's great, and especially for me to have your dad coach that team, because he was the first coach I've ever had when I joined Homenetmen, and pretty much the only coach I've ever had in Ararat. I know I played for Bobby this last championship game, but that was just one tournament. Yeah. But
going through practices,
my
is
ultimate
different.
coach for Homenetmen, the only coach I've ever really had and and spoke to like that was your dad, BJ. So for me and him to share that championship together with the team, it was very special. And we shared a very good moment before and after the game. So it was great. I mean, I knew he wanted that too, and we wanted it for him. So that was really great.
He always wanted to go back and coach that team again. He went in 01, but that was like a different thing. It wasn't like Glendale or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, he wanted to go back. He wanted to really win that one. He kept saying 16 years ago that team went. I wanted to do it for those guys.
Look, we knew you weren't with us in the beginning of when the team was getting set up. You were still playing, I think, for G League at the time, right? So it was... we all knew, man. We all knew that you were obviously the biggest piece to finishing up that roster. We all made it known that we're going to treat it like he's not coming just in case. But we all knew in the back of our heads, dude, that you needed to be there. So it was great that it all worked out, man.
No, it really did work out. Because I remember telling my French team, I signed before Armenia, and I was like, is it okay if I go over there? Because they wanted me to report there August 5th.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to be done with Armenia till the 14th or something.
Mid-August.
So I remember asking them, and they, allowed me to go, and I was like, all right, boys, we're good. Let's do it. And I was already in Europe after Armenia, so it was easy for me to just go right to Paris after that.
Let's talk a little bit about your experience playing there. I know you said you're a little homesick and everything, language barrier, but in terms of basketball and the way you fit with that team, How was that like? You felt comfortable enough to be with them?
Mm-hmm. That was the first chance when I played overseas because that was like my second year. That was the first chance I really got to,
dive in
and dial in and really play my game and just play. Because I was there for a while, and You know, it wasn't any mishaps or anything that came up in between. It was really fun. You know, I was the top 3 scoring in the league, and you know, I was playing well. I had a couple of really good games. It was just really fun and really good experience. I enjoyed France a lot.
Nice.
You know, I was an hour away from Paris, and I always got to go.
That's sick.
Drive down to Paris. You know, they gave me my own car and apartment, so I was able to go drive down to Paris or take the bus and just kind of go see everything, the Eiffel Tower. You know, just
look. I mean, if anything, I know basketball-wise, it might not have been the greatest experience as far as like going to another country, but I think one thing you could probably take away from it is that you got to see another country for a little bit of time and experience the culture a little differently. So
exactly.
I think that's one thing for sure you're probably taking away the most.
Yeah, and that league in France is pretty good too. There's a lot of guys that are in there, come out of there, so it was really competitive and it was really fun.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to, you know, cut it off too soon about talking about pro ball, but I think one thing that everyone is wondering is like where you're at right now and what's your next step as a basketball player. I know we talked about it on the show already, but if you had to kind of say like where you're at right now, what's Andre Spight working on right now?
Right now, it's a dead spot in order for me to, you know, like the only season that's going on right now is pretty much that Disney bubble in the NBA, you know, and I wish I was there. But I think the next step for me is right now I'm preparing my body and just my mind and, you know, just diving into focusing on playing in the States. You know, my main focus is to remain in the States and play in the States and get back into the G League and work my way up to the NBA. And in between, I'm going to be here, you know, training kids. So if, you know, any kid watching this, feel free to message me on Instagram at DreSpight11. You know, I'll be glad to work with you, work on your weaknesses, strengths, whatever you guys need. So I'll be here during that time until the pandemic kind of dies down and, you know, kind of see where I go from there, playing in the G League and, you know, making a roster there. So, you know,
for sure,
I'm not putting Europe on a stop, but I'm kind of just weighing my options, and I'm gonna stay in the States a little bit longer and see like what's here for me. You know, I have a couple offers overseas right now, but I'm just kind of putting them on hold a little bit and not making any drastic decisions yet.
And you got to see, look, if your priority,
see what's best for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
See where I'm happiest at and what's best for me and my family and my friends, and just, you know,
and not even
see what's best for my family and my friends. Like, just see what, you know, what all comes together.
Exactly.
Like, it just has
I think that's the key. Let it come together.
Exactly.
Don't force where you go play. And, you know, I think with this time, it gives you more of a chance to kind of just like regroup, like we said. So, you know, hit this guy up, man. If you need any kind of training, advice, Dre's always going to be willing to talk to you, man. And we got a bunch of kids on our team and kids around our team that I know they need the training. So hit up Dre, work on your game a little bit. Don't be a couch potato. And, you know,
this is the best time to get better.
That's about it, man. I mean, that's all you can do. Just get better as much as you can, really.
Exactly. I mean, just hit me up if you need training. You know, I can train you in 2K too. Like we can get on the court. School you a little bit into. I know some kids are gonna watch this like I could beat him in 2K. I don't know. Let them know, Pat.
They can't.
Let them know, Pat.
All right, bro. First things first. You got lucky.
Dre
no, but honestly, there's nothing I can do. He was James Harden. I was playing as Kawhi. I put Kawhi on you. You're still scoring 40 or 50 on me. What am I supposed to do?
No, man. PlayStation, I'm not losing on the 2K.
Dre brought you brought your PlayStation to Armenia?
Yeah, I did.
I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I just like two rooms across. I just hear screaming, dude. I walk in and Dre's just cracking up.
Yeah, taking. When I play for anything, I'll play for your sandals. I just want to take something from you. Something.
I think you and I need another rematch after this.
Oh yeah, we might. But 2K19 is a little bit. I like
21 looks crazy, dude.
Yeah,
the graphics and shit.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
Well, Dre, I mean, we'll wrap it up here, dude. I mean, I'm gonna give you the platform If there's anything, I know you mentioned that you want to get into training kids while you have the time to do it, but the platform's all yours, man. I mean, I'm going to leave it up to you. You want to shout out anything? End us off, man.
I just want to say, you know, to the whole Homenetmen community, our community, like, from the bottom of my heart, like, I really love you guys, like, love all the support and just all the energy that you guys have given me and just the whole organization. Like, it's a beautiful thing, like how when I went to Navs, like, I really got to see, because, you know, I was in college for about four years. I wasn't here during that time. You know, I was young when I was around Navs and everything, so I didn't really kind of, you know, process it until I was about, you know, 18, like, really seeing, like, wow, this is special, like, what we have going on here. So, you know, I just want to say thank you to, you know, Coach BJ, you know, your father, like, just the whole team, my whole A1 team, you guys, like, everything was just, it's just been so fun, and I can't wait to get back in the gym with you guys, you know, whenever this thing is done. I don't know when we're going to get back in the gym. But I just want to say thank you to, you know, everyone who's watching this and supports me. And feel free to, you know, talk to me, message me, you know, connect. And, you know, we're all a family, we're all a community. So it's all love.
Thank you for coming, Andre, and
appreciate it.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys for having me.
For sure, man. Hopefully we do this again in the future. Talk about you being in the NBA. So until next time, guys, this is Off the Court. Peace.
Take care.